In the not too distant past, I don't know what, like a week or two ago, I told you guys that there were several opportunities that you're missing out on because of your inability to think 3 sniffs ahead. All the time, you guys are just focused on the bet that's 5 minutes away, right in front of your face, and meanwhile, the girl of your dreams, the bet of your dreams is walking by, right out of your life, in and out of your life, because you got something on the Australian Open right now. You're watching tennis in Australia, and you don't even have me. I'm off to your left. You got one of those Apple Vision Pros on. I saw the commercial where you put on this helmet like Rick Moranis in Spaceballs, and it projects screens onto your house. So you got the Australian Open there, and I'm probably off to the left. Well, hey, look over here. Because that's what you deserve. You deserve not a real smack. I would never smack anyone, but you deserve an Apple Vision Pro digital smack if you are one of those people who, after the video, I said I was rooting for the Washington Capitals to beat Detroit. Do not bet on Detroit because this is a winnable game for them. I want that price to go up so I can then cash grab, and then we root against the Capitals. And then what happens? They do that. So people should be celebrating that. And they tell me, oh yeah, a nice call with the Capital. I'm going to do this one time. Only once. Probably. This show is the most watched NHL hockey betting show there is. And you want to know why that is? Because I focus on entertainment. I put entertainment at the forefront because I grew up on 90s wrestling. You want to know what people loved seeing? The Rock on the mic calling people Rudy Poo candy asses. They liked ravishing Rick Rude doing his hip swivel. They liked Val Venus leaning his head out of the shower with Ken Shamrock's sister in there as he taunted him in the ring. You want to know what most people truly didn't care about? A properly performed German suplex. People like entertainment. So every once in a while, I got donkeys who want to say, oh yeah, well, that was a losing night. Oh yeah, do the math. Like the people in the YouTube comments, I'd love to see their math SAT score. You know when you read those articles, oh, they got rid of math on the SATs because too many people were failing and they need them to get into college, so they just kind of did away. That's you. You, Mr. YouTube, there is no more math on the SATs, probably because you couldn't understand rudimentary concepts. One time I'm going to do this. This is an entertainment show, but let's walk you through some numbers there, sir. So let's take the bets I gave yesterday. Yesterday was a very, very, very good day. Now let me tell you how money works. Let me tell you how numbers work. I'm going to do this once, never doing it again, because I want you to go, ha, ha, ha. I've never cared about your pockets the same way you guys never had a car. That's not bad the way that rolled off. So let's take the bets we had yesterday. Let's take a nice even number. Every bet, every ticket you saw was a bet to win $100. That's how we'll do it. So the first bet was the Pittsburgh Penguins to win. 110 to win 100. Okay, we risked that one. Okay, we have $100 now. What was the second bet? What was the second ticket? The Carolina Hurricanes, Boston Bruins under 6.5. We had to risk 160, so the 100 we just won, plus another 60 from our pot. Okay, we won that one. Now we have 200. What was the third bet? Carolina Hurricanes under 7.5 plus 105. What do we need to risk to win $100 at plus 105? Let's just call it an even 95. So we won 200. Now we lost 95. We're at about 105. What was the third bet? Kyle Palmieri and Brock Nelson, both to register a point. The price was like plus 165. What do I need to risk to win $100 if it's a plus 165? What do you want to call it? Even 65? Then we took the Barzal and Bo Horvat, both to register a point. They did. So now there's another 100. What was the next bet after that? Nathan McKinnon over 1.5 points. That's another 100. What was the one after that? The McKinnon points with the Drew and assist. Another 100. So it was like a $350 day if you're using $100 as your metrics. But no, someone's going to say, how many times do you lose? Nice Carolina bet. You're the reason they got rid of math on the SATs. And I know they didn't get rid of math on the SATs, but they did change the score to some like, oh yeah, it's out of like 9,000 now. That way you can just obscure the numbers. Oh yeah, I got a 6,455. Oh, that sounds really good. And for the next guy, oh yeah, you know what? For long enough, you YouTube commenters got to send your vitriol one direction. It's finally coming back. You send that mail in the chute. You never have to worry about that vacuum thing sending it back. No, I'm the first guy to send mail back down the vacuum chute. So for that person who said, man, can you just get to the picks already? No, I can't do that. I cannot get to the picks already because I just love to know. I love to know that there are people who can find a video on YouTube, watch the video on YouTube, and not realize that they can just take their disgusting, dirty big finger and have a nice smudge across their screen and can't figure out how to move the scroll bar forward. You're watching this video on YouTube and you can't figure out how to fast forward. And as you fast forward, it's showing you the bets I'm talking about. It labels them. So if you can't figure that out, then I'm so happy to prolong these openings. You are the Washington Capitals of YouTube viewers. Now we can go on to some Friday Sniffs. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you enjoyed that relatively good day. What do we got here on a Friday? Well, we should probably start by talking about the Colorado Avalanche going to Edmonton. Now, Edmonton, I saw a little chart yesterday. Their record against the best teams in the league is just downright awful. It's bad, and they really need a signature win to say, no, we deserve to be one of the favorites. They're still like one of the Stanley Cup favorites. Meanwhile, they've raked up all their points. They've accumulated the majority of their points against the bottom dwellers in the NHL, and that's pretty bad. So this is a game you would think they want. Does that mean I'm going to take them? Absolutely not, because I have no need to. I'm going to take the Edmonton Oilers minus 125. You think I want to deal with whatever the Avalanche can bring to the table? It's a roller coaster ride. You know what I told you about them. They're like that girl who wants the exciting guy who's going to drag them through the mud, treat them like crap, but then give them a good Saturday. That's the Avalanche. They will take you through the emotional roller coaster. Well, these last couple of nights, what have we done? In that Art Ross race, a couple nights back, we took Nick Kucherov after a bad game. We knew he was going to really put himself out there, try to get some points. We nailed that one. Then last night, what did we do? We took McKinnon, had a bad game in Columbus, followed that up with a great one. Last game for McDavid and that top line, nothing. They got blanked in Dallas. Now they're coming home. You got to like Connor McDavid over 1.5 points. When the Connor McDavid over 1.5 points price is better than the Oilers money line against the Avalanche, yeah, I think I like that bet a little bit more than taking the Oilers to beat the Avalanche. You hear me, Dan? You hear me, pizzeria guy? Oh, no, I don't take Paul. I'm the pizzeria owner. You tell me a name, and then I'll tell you how much it is. No, pizzeria guy, I'll be taking my business elsewhere. I'll take Connor McDavid over 1.5 points against the Colorado Avalanche. Now, earlier this week, including that bet right there, we focused on a lot of 1.5 point props. We've seen the over 1.5 for Crosby with that Rust assist. We've seen Panarin over 1.5 points with the Lafreniere assist. We've seen a ton of these. I see a lot of them on this slate, a lot that makes sense to take. Now, how about we start with the Buffalo-Philadelphia game? Tortorella chewed out that team. I'm not 100% sure which way this game's going to go. Here's what I know about it. A couple different things. Are the Flyers going to respond to that lashing from their coach? They have this 19-foot goalie who's probably going to be starting his first game. He came in relief last game, played very well, and now he's going to be playing in Buffalo probably. Buffalo's been playing great on their own home ice. They destroyed the Capitals, had to win against the Devils. They only lost to Toronto, but it was because of the goaltending on Toronto's side. So between the both of these teams, I'm not 100% sure. One thing on this homestand that I kind of have been relying on, it's been coming through most of the time, Paige Thompson, Alex Tuck. They're shouldering the load in this final push to the playoffs. They're coming through in all these games. And kind of like Keller and Schmaltz, if they get me one game, I can tip my cap, because once somebody wins 3 in a row for you, they don't owe you anything anymore. Okay? Meatloaf said 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 3 out of 4, now you're just getting greedy. Add that to the LP. But I'm going to take both of those line mates for a point. That will put you well into plus money in that game. Now let me look at some of those 1.5 point props on the slate. My favorite one is in one of the late games, so let me talk about 2 on the earlier slate. The first one I'm looking at is Jake Guentzel on Carolina. They're going to be playing those who? The Washington Capitals. And Jake Guentzel, his 1.5 point prop is in the plus money. Scored again last night, but we have a little update with Guentzel. And I'm going to remind you, you should always check these to make sure that the pre-line rushes match what I say here. And of course, you're never going to do that. You're not going to do anything like that, but I'm going to do that. So Guentzel got moved off the top line with Aho and Jarvis, although they had great chemistry. I think this was in an effort to get Svechnikov going, because he's just been dying down there on the third line. So they moved him up. They moved Guentzel down, and they got him playing with Kuznetsov. So if we take Jake Guentzel for over 1.5 points against these Washington Capitals, that's a plus money bet right there. If he is a shooter playing with a pass-first center in Kuznetsov, that Kuznetsov assist is a plus money bet right there. You take the plus money with Kuznetsov and the plus money with Guentzel. Even if they neuter it, they're forced to give us a good price. Yeah, this is like a dog that when you cut off his balls and you neuter him, he's still horny. He's still humping things. This is a ballless, horny dog bet. Guentzel over 1.5 points, Kuznetsov assist. Then when I see Panarin, and it's just so difficult. They leave it in the plus money. He's an incredible player, having an incredible year, shows no signs of slowing down. On the road against Detroit, is this one? I know last night on the Patreon, even though I didn't give this out, everybody seemingly took Crosby over 1.5 points and Rust. I think people have this thing when somebody wins them a stack, they just want to bet it every single game. But you got to know when to sniff, and you got to know when to cover your nose. Last night, that was a cover your nose in that Pittsburgh game because that had potential for clenched ass cheeks. This game, you know what? Okay, let's do it. I'm going to go with the over 1.5 for Artemi Panarin. And remember, if he gets 2 points, what are the odds that Trocheck's not going to be involved? Interestingly enough, Trocheck's assist is in the plus money for this game. So if you take the plus money Trocheck assist with the plus money over 1.5 points for Artemi Panarin, this is another neutered dog that still has a little hump in him. So give me that same game parlay between those two right there. Don't mind Panarin by himself. And then my favorite of the bunch is in the late game. A line that just cleaned up for me every which way. Points assist, point, 2 points each. And that's that Vegas top line. They're really one of my favorite lines because we know they can cook. They cooked straight through the Stanley Cup final. Marchessault, MVP. Eichel had a ton of points. And then just the often disrespected Barbashev. Once again, a plus money point. And the Jack Eichel over 1.5 points. Just like I told you before about Keller and Schmaltz, you win 3 in a row and you lose the 4th. I'm fine with it. I'm going back to the Mullet Arena environment. Those games were crazy. All right, last one versus Vancouver was kind of a dud. I'm going back to it. I'm going to see if we can replicate. It's ASU. Okay, they're partying. They're about to graduate. Some of those seniors are going to be there. It's going to be a wild time. It's going to be a wild night. It's a Friday night in ASU. Oh, you know what? I just convinced myself. I'm going ruckus. I'm going out. I'm going drinking. No, I'm not. I'm going to be watching this game with the rest of you, hitting this over 1.5 points for Jack Eichel. And then if you add that Barbashev point, so you don't even need to add an assist in this one. Over 1.5 for Eichel, the Barbashev point, that's a great plus money parlay right there. And how about this? Let's use the DraftKings same game parlay insurance bet. Oh yeah, what happened with that one last night? Gave out a nice 100 hit in the Florida game, over 1.5 points for Barkov, a Reinhardt assist, which was in plus money, and the Tarasenko point. We're doing the same thing once again. And now you guys can try to benefit from it. I'm going with the over 1.5 points for Jack Eichel, the point for Barbashev, which is in plus money. And then let's import the plus money assist from Marchessault. Because if Eichel has over 1.5 points and he's correlated with the both of those forwards on the power play and at even strength, if he hits, I have a damn good feeling the other two are going to hit as well. That gives you a nice, just think about it. This is the neutered price. Imagine what we would have got, how horny we would have been a week ago with the price they would have showed us. I know some of you are still humping that leg right now, seeing that price. So that's what I got there. That's what I got for you on this Friday. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. There is one more game that I do want to talk about quickly. Hopefully, you didn't just exit the video. Oh, that guy with his damn headset on, that Apple Vision Pro, he's back to the tennis. Oh, he's got the sports books here. But the Anaheim Ducks, Seattle Kraken game. What did I tell you the last couple nights? Show me a game with two meaningless teams, and we saw a wild one between the Calgary Flames and the Anaheim Ducks. We saw a kind of wild one between the Kraken and the Sharks. Let's do a combo of those two teams. It's the Ducks hosting the Kraken. And for you want an underdog pick on them? Well, why not? Why not? Anaheim won a bunch of games to start the year. They'll probably win a bunch of games to end the year. Seattle has nothing to play for. They called up Wright. McCann's on the third line. They're just kind of winging it, trying some things. This is a game that Anaheim could probably win. But I'll tell you right now, there are a ton of value Look at me like the sniff in his bleed. There's a ton of value on this slate, and if you want to see, one must sniff to see, and one must pay to be on the Patreon, where I'm going to dish out some of the 2-point parlays for that game. Oh my God, did you just do that like the end of a Law & Order episode? Yeah, and the finale is on the Patreon, so come join over there. It's patreon.com/Andy Francis. That's where I put the majority of the parlays, even though I gave out a bunch today. It's a Pirate Friday here, where we're blasting parlays.
Ahoy, me hearties, it be the Parlay Pirate, with a seat in me back and a drink in me hand. Now I have a message to heed for all the Denny boys, salty raw doggers, and true pirates alike. Our fearless Captain Andy been leading us to treasure night after night, and only be right by pirate code that a tribute be paid. We can do this with a comment, like, subscribe, or a share of any of his videos, but the true pirate's way would be to join the Patreon, for if ye be benefiting from these sniffs, then ye have much more treasure in store for you. As they say, no pay, no play, and ye be sniffing a parlay.